Hi everyone, Michelle here from the Creative Cove. Thanks for joining me today. Back with my, I believe, probably final installment of my watercolor lap book. I've been kind of humming and hawing a lot on how to finish it off. I'm trying to figure out how to get my brushes in. I want to include a brush, a pen, and a pencil. And really the only place I have to do it is here or here. I could do it in here as well. But the problem with doing it here is that it's the cover. So I don't want to put holes in the cover unless I can figure out a fun way to decorate it. Which is a possibility. I mean, you could put the elastic through here, have two pieces of elastic here, and then maybe tie something in between it or do some dangles off of it. But I think I'm going to put them here, which will put the holes through this. My dilemma is I was trying to like build an envelope maybe that I could tuck the pencils and pens in, but I didn't like the look of that. So I was playing with that. That's what this is. And I didn't like that. So I think what I'm going to do is just go back to elastics. My only dilemma is I don't have a punch. I only have this guy, and he only reaches so deep down in the book. So I don't know how to punch holes up here to hold another piece of elastic. I might just have to jam it with some scissors or something. So I'm going to go for it. Hopefully it works. Hopefully I can make this look pretty, but I am just making it up as I go. And I'm just going to really do a tight elastic through here to hold my brushes. So you know the watercolor brush is much longer than this, but I made a shorter book. So I just chopped the end of my paintbrush off so that it will fit in here and the tip is inside so it's protected. I also cut my pencil down so that it would fit in here. And then my pen, my graphics pen, does fit. So I'm basically going to just kind of roll them on top of each other and just tie them in with a really tight piece of elastic. Didn't know what else to do really that I had on hand that would work for me. But that's as deep as I can get. See, that's the problem I'm having. So I don't know how I can get a hole further up where it needs to be in order to really hold this paper and these tools in. So I'm gonna just try to, I wish I had, oh, I have an X-Acto knife. Yeah, I don't have it. No, I don't have an X-Acto knife. There's no blade in that. So I have, I don't have tools that actually, oh, here's an X-Acto knife, that will actually reach down this far, like a hole punch that would reach that far. And I don't have a awl or anything, so this is probably not the safest thing to do. But as junk journalers, we risk our lives every day trying to make something pretty. I'm going to take the paint out here for a second. See if I've made enough of a hole. No. To indicate where to punch through from the other side. So I'm really just making a big mess right now, trying to figure out where to put this elastic through. I think the elastic will hide most of this mess. Okay, so there's that one. And then I think I'll try and line it up with this one here. And I'm basically just going to use some elastic lace like I did around the journal on the other side. Because I want it to be practical. I want to be able to access my tools easily and add new tools if I want. But if you had fabric and you could sew a little pouch or something, that would be really nice. I think that's all the way through now. I think. Yeah, okay, so let's see if I can get some elastic through there. So I brought my elastic down, and this is just a stretchy lace elastic. I've used it, I use it a lot. So I'm just going to cut two pieces, I don't know, about 5 inches long, and I'm going to shove them through the holes. So I want the tie to be on the inside. Let's use the scissors for that. I'm going to shove it through and try and pull it through these holes here. And then send it back through the other way. And hopefully I can tie this really tight enough that it will hold them in and I don't have to worry about those tools falling out. But right now, this is the only solution I could think of to hold these brushes in place and the tools I need for my little traveling kit. Let's see here. Did I get it through? This one's going to be a bit trickier. All right. That, and then back through this way. Let's find the end. Sorry, I don't even know if I'm on camera there. And then I'm just going to shove it back through. And if you're doing this method, if you have those reinforcements, those grommets, things that go in one of these, I don't have any left, but if you had some of those, I would definitely put those in because it holds in the paper and makes it last a lot longer, because these will take some abuse when you're pulling the pens and brushes in and out all the time. So it just makes the paper edging last a lot longer. Okay, so we're through. And I'm just going to tie a knot here. And I'm basically going to go pretty close to the bottom. And I am going to tie a knot, and hopefully this is tight enough, or not too tight, that I can slip those in, and we'll see if it will hold them. Might have to do another one at the top here. But basically my brush, my liner, because I do like to doodle on my watercolors, and my pencil. And I think we're in business. So it's nice and tight. And there we go. All right. Well, that was way better than I thought it was going to be. Let's make sure we can actually close the book, which we can. Yay! I was actually really worried about that, how to figure that out. But I think we got it. So there we go. All right. Put our paints back in. So I thought we could put some things on this today. Maybe hide this a little bit. I haven't figured that part out yet. Baby steps. I found these things in my repertoire, these old photo corners. I thought this would be kind of fun to add into here to hold some watercolor scraps. So I've got these little scraps here. They're not even cut straight. But again, it doesn't bother me because they are just scraps. And this could be a fun little way to showcase some papers and maybe some paintings that you've done. Or maybe you've done a sketch and you're waiting to watercolor it. So these are pretty old. They are kind of all stuck together, so they don't really pop open easily. But there's that. And I thought we could just glue these in. And then you can take this in and out whenever you need it. So let's get some glue here. Hopefully my glue is going to cooperate. Oh, it's over cooperating, look. You could use just regular glue for this. I'm just going to stick one down because that glue is running. I'm very messy today. I'm not very organized at all. Well, nothing new there, is it? So I got my first one in, and then that kind of tells me the size of my paper, but my glue is oozing here. So I want to use it before it runs all the way down. And I've heard from some of you that you've created these lap books and some watercolor books. I'm so happy to hear that. And I hope you get as much joy out of yours as I do out of mine. And I hope they give you a little place to go to just be a little creative, you know. And hopefully you made one too eventually, if you haven't yet, a little travel size like this, so you can just throw it in your car or your purse or whatever you want. So it's a bit messy, sorry. But there. And then once these are dry, you can just pull this paper in and out. So I think I'll do a few of these. And again, they're just scraps. I do have these, what are these things here? Are these sticky ones? Oh, here's some different ones. Let's try these ones. I think these are pre-stickies. That will be helpful. They're not quite as strong, but that works. All right, business. It's a lot easier than that messy glue I'm dealing with. Where's the cap for that? I need to buy some more glue. There's nowhere that sells this glue up here where I live. I have to go down to another town to buy it. So I was in that town yesterday and remembered glue sticks. And I bought a whack load of glue sticks and forgot to get that glue. But that's all right. So I'll put a bunch of these on. They're a little tedious, but once they're in, you can reuse them over and over again. Ooh. My fingers have glue on them already, and ink, because I was just inking something. I'll do this side. And it's just a fun way to keep your scraps in, because that's basically what this book is going to have. Just my offcuts and scraps or watercolor inspirations that I've already done. And I've been doodling another style of watercolor, so not so much botanical, and I'll show you in a minute what I mean. I was having fun just throwing color on a paper and then kind of letting how the watercolor dries determine what I'd sketch on it. And I didn't sketch anything specific. I was just having fun with organic shapes and patterns. And so that's another kind of maybe inspiration that you might find. And playing and experimenting with watercolors. You don't always have to do flowers and butterflies and stuff. You can just really play with shapes and patterns. And I'll show you that in just a sec. And I'll probably do a video on that at some point. I've been busy at work, so I haven't had as much, oops, that one's ruined. Not as much time to film as I had hoped, because this is going to be a week late, this lap book. And this will be the final installment, because I think you get the gist. You know how to, if you've watched how to make the actual book itself, I mean, you go on all kinds of different directions, and some of the photos that I've seen tagged me in of your projects, they're all vary so nicely. It's really fun to see. Okay, well, I don't have one for that. I could cut that, but we'll leave that blank. Maybe we'll put something else there. So there's a cute little way of displaying, and again, you can just pull these pieces out and paint on them and then put them back in. So it's kind of a fun little book. So here's what I was talking about with, oh, I gotta get it, sorry. With the sketches. And so I basically just wet, you might have seen this on my Instagram post. I just basically wet the page with different colors, and then I doodle on it. And so I did this one. I did this one. I don't know if you can see. I'm gonna have to back you out a little bit. And then I did a series of these little 4 ones. And again, it's just the way the color bleeds, and I doodle around it, and I play with patterns and different. So here's a very organic with a very geometric in their shapes. And I really have fun doing these, so I thought I might cut this one up and add a piece or two into the watercolor journal, because I think it's a fun reminder of how you can just have fun playing with patterns and loose. So if you like geometric or organic shapes, you can really have a lot of fun with this. And I like to fill my lap book with things that inspire me. And I really had fun making these. It's a very loose, relaxing project. So if you're interested in seeing how I do this, let me know and I will make a video about it. And I'll show you how I do it. All right? Just let me know. So I thought this maybe, it's probably been cropped now, so it probably won't fit there. Maybe back here. Just to open up your book and go, oh yeah, I remember doing something like that. I haven't done that in a while. Maybe I'll try it again. And so I'm just going to stick it in. I'm not going to do anything else with it. I'm just going to glue it in there. And again, I like to put inspirational ideas around my lap book and fill it with watercolor doodles. So that's going to go right in there. I'm just going to hold that down for a second because it's thick, this watercolor. And I meant to grab some lace or some fabric because I do want to fix the outside of my watercolor book where I dropped it and it ripped, kind of cracked, because I am pretty abusive. And I think that's probably all I'm going to do for this lab book. I don't have any, you could make a small little envelope that comes out here. Sometimes I like to leave my lab books unfinished too, so that I can add things to it if I stumble across something I really like. For example, I have this perfume box from Jo Malone. She's my favorite perfume. And I thought this would be really fun to incorporate in here at some point. Maybe chop it down and make an envelope and hold more paper in there. But as you come across different materials and stuff, then if you've left yourself some space, you can add those materials. And a paper clip, which I like to add because, again, sometimes you just want a real quick way to add in some scraps, which we can do right now. So just every time I have watercolor scraps left over from a project, I have a quick place to put them. So that sort of thing. All right, but I do want to fix this. So I don't know what I have near me, if I have anything I can use, but I was hoping to fix that. I do have little scrap materials here. This is actually really nice. That might work perfectly. And I have this. I have this little bag underneath my desk of random scraps of fabric. Leather, fake leather. I have all these chopped up pieces. I don't know what to do with those yet. Anyways, so this should be something in here I can use. I'm basically going to wrap this in fabric, I think, because the paper's just was too fragile and I've damaged it. I'm gonna try and glue this back down. So when I dropped this book, it broke the paper on the corner here. And these books will take some abuse. So I'm just going to put this down on itself for a second and then maybe try to choose a fabric. So this is nice and thin, which is good. That's kind of pretty. Because again, I like the vintage. We could do something with a fake leather. That could also be really fun. If you had an embossing machine, you can run this through the embosser. Ooh, that'd be fun too. I don't have one, but that could be fun. Something like that. I also have this, which I thought was really pretty because it actually looks like a watercolor painting. And it's blue. So that could work as well. And this could fray, which would be really cute. I don't know now. There's too many choices. Too many choices. Let's see. I think I kind of like the leather. Maybe overkill this one. As beautiful as it is, I think I kind of like the idea of the leather going on here. Right? I'm going to do the leather. I've decided. So I'm going to try and cut this as straight as I can. Again, you know me, nothing straight. that. And glue this here, wrap it around. So, yeah, I mean, it's gonna have an ugly, rough edge. My whole book does, because I didn't wrap the paper. Again, it's just a quick journal where I throw it in my bag. That's kind of nice. Okay, so I think that's almost pretty straight. Chop off a little on the corner here. And then I'm gonna chop off a little extra, just because I know I'm not gonna cut straight. And then figure out how long I want it. So I'm just gonna wrap it where I'm gonna glue it on the front to the back. And this time I'm going to give myself a little extra playroom, unlike the paper that I used. Okay. Let's see if I can cut this straight. Oh, I already cut it crooked. All right, let's do our best. And then across here. Okay, let's see. Let's see if we got it. Looks pretty straight. But I was trimming after, so I'm just going to go ahead and do it. I'm just going to throw some glue on there. Now this glue is pretty good for sticking just about anything, except maybe plastic. It's not the best for plastic. And I'm going to be pretty generous with it, because again, these books take quite a beating when you're traveling with them. Let's see if I can get it on there without making an awful mess. All right, put the lid on, and let's try it. So I'm gonna actually line it up with this painting. It's got a bit of a stretch to it, to this material, so we got to be careful with that. And then roll it over this side. See if we can convince it to stay. I'm just going to hold it for a sec. And again, I haven't thought of a closure. I'll probably just end up using a piece of fabric and making a tie for it. I'm not very good at closures. I don't really make them because I usually just use elastic. But I've seen some really beautiful closures in some videos, some junk journal videos, where they do some really neat things. So, but in my case, I am just going to put either elastic or some fabric around it, that like that Siri silk idea. Now I don't have any of that, so I have to use probably my elastic, or maybe maybe we'll use some of that watercolor fabric we just found. Okay. So I think I'm gonna leave that be for a minute, and then we'll come back and trim this extra off. I mean, we could technically fold it over if we wanted, but I'm not gonna do that. Nah, I'm not gonna push my luck. But I kind of like the look of the leather. And this actually was an old fake leather. It's not real leather, as you can tell. It's a synthetic. I bought a jacket for $5 at the thrift shop and thought, oh, I might be able to use that in something. And here we are. I really kind of like that. I kind of want to put something here now. It just keeps going and going. Just a little something, you know? Maybe just leave it blank, and then I could print something off, because I don't like my handwriting. But something like that, and then maybe something with a label on it. And then you could put whatever the title of your book in there. I'm just trying to find a piece of paper. I really didn't take any paper out, because I didn't think I was doing anything like that. I have an envelope here. Is that too orange? It's kind of fun with the blue, though, isn't it? That orange. So much for almost being done. And then the label. It's kind of fun. I don't know if I want to leave that orange. Let's see, maybe just an old piece of paper here. See what I've got. Like I said, I didn't pull much out. Here's one of those famous thank you cards I've been using. I like that. So before we do that, I want to trim this edge just to make sure I don't make that label too big. So I'm just going to take my scissors down the side of it. Chop it off. And a little trim on this side too. It needs. I'm going to assume the glue will stick paper to this. I could be wrong though. It might not actually adhere paper to leather because there is a finish on this leather. So I might be making a mistake here. Let's just see. Because there's a finish on this leather, that this glue might not stick it. It might react like a plastic. But there's really only one way to find out. So I'm going to chop this here. Let's see if I want to use one of these labels on here or not. And then I might chop this down a little bit smaller. Now, if I had those grommets, they're just like I don't know what they're called. I don't think I have them out here. But they have little tails on them, and you push them through and push the tails out just to make a little kind of professional looking ends here would be kind of cute. But I don't have those out. So maybe I'll go back to these and we'll just permanently glue them in, but it kind of looks like you can replace the label if you wanted to. Do like that. Yeah, I don't mind it actually. I kind of like the stark white, but it's maybe just a little too white. So let me just tone it down a little bit. Whatever I've got on here. Brush corduroy. I think I want to go darker, so let's go vintage photo. Man, that's rough. It's been used. Yeah, that's more me. Okay. Now we'll see if I like the black sticky on there or not. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so I'm going to stick one on and see, is it straight? Because I am working kind of sideways here. And then I'm going to glue it, and hopefully this glue will stick. I can't say for sure because the leather does have a finish on it. And like I said, this glue does not like plastic. But worst comes to worst, we'll take it off and we can glue a piece of fabric over top of the glue residue. Anything's fixable. Okay, generous amount of glue. I'm going to shove it back in this corner and try and line it straight as I can. I'm going to hold that while I dig for more of these little stickers. Slide them on, hopefully before it glues. One there. Rotate it here. Lift up this edge. So this could be fun. You can write whatever you want on here. Or you could do a little watercolor doodle. I don't like my handwriting, so I don't use my handwriting, but some people I watched on YouTube where they've got the most beautiful calligraphy handwriting, and you could just write watercolor travel book or whatever it is you want to do, but I kind of like that. And there, I think that's it. So I think just to close it, I'm just going to use my trusty elastic lace that I always use, because it's so easy to pull on and off. I don't know if this is really long enough to make a tie with. It really isn't. So I don't think I can use that. But I mean, this is simple. Simple and very easy access. So you can tie it once or you can tie it twice. So I think I'm going to tie it around twice. And then close her up. Oop. This lace elastic was one of my favorite finds at a thrift shop. I got this whole roll for like $8 and it was way more on here. It was awesome. You never know what you're going to find. And I love that. Ta-da! Okay, so there it is. You know, I'm not the sexiest tie, but it will do. And if I find it's a little bit too tight, I can always loosen it. But I'll get that out of the way. But I mean, how fast you can get into your watercolor book. So here it is. This is it finished for now. And so we did our pull out here with our little tag where you can write things that you maybe observed that you do want to watercolor, a little watercolor inspiration. Another little watercolor inspiration, very loose. I've done a video on both these techniques. I've got some watercolor inspirations inside. And again, you can always doodle on the back. You can't use too much water, but you can recycle your papers just to practice. Get as much out of your paper as you can, because some watercolor paper can be very expensive. We built our little pad here. So all these different little bits and pieces. And you just basically open this, put more in. I have a little medical pad that I found at the, again, thrift shop. We left this blank because I thought we could always add another watercolor inspiration in there. I do like to leave some places blank to add things. And here's a little booklet of papers that you can also watercolor on. It's not watercolor paper, but you can still experiment. You know, you can do a doodle, a leaf on this and throw watercolor on it. Like, the possibilities of this stuff are endless. You can stamp on here in watercolor and see how that happens. What happens to that. Lots of experimentation on different papers is fun. Some inspiration, because I am into botanicals, so this is kind of a fun reference for me if I wanted to do a quick sketch of those. Little pockets in here with more scraps, because again, that's the point of this book, is to hold scraps for last minute inspiration on the road. Here's a couple of doodles. This is an embroidery, so more texture that, again, I can add watercolor on top of that. And a little flap here with a tag with another watercolor, and this has got the gold in it. Ooh, that's so pretty. Love that. Another watercolor piece. More little botanical sketches out of books for inspiration. It really is about filling your lap book with things that you love and things that make you happy to look at over and over again. So that's what I've done with mine. And here's a little journaling tag with some more. Here's a little envelope here with some punches, not punches, stamps. So again, you can fill this pocket with a lot of goodies. And this side has our little birdie sketches that we can watercolor. So maybe I'll do a video on that. And here's the little pre-made watercolor tag. So I've already glued the little tag to it. And you can decorate that. Some more. This time I did a little embroidered tag. So more scraps. And here's our, and this was just tied in. So again, you can pull this whole book right out of the book and replace it with something else. Here's a little watercolor fun loose sketch that I was playing with. Just another approach at watercolor. Always fun to see new ideas. And our little booklet that we made out of the rest of that medical folder with some sketches, and now some little places to pull out your papers and sketch and put them back in. So they're like, you do a little sketch, you really love it, and now it's got a nice little framed section for it to sit in and showcase and inspire you for the next sketch. This we left blank. I'm not sure what we can do there. We can add, just like I said, with the paper clips and throw more scraps in. And then this side again opens. And here, of course, is our paint, which also acts as our palette. So I use the top and the bottom as our palette. I don't have much paint in here because I do have another lap book, a watercolor lap book. I just built this to show people how to make one. But I'll slowly collect little half pans of watercolor. And you could put tubes in there or little mini palettes or whatever you want. Here's some scraps, and today we just put our little ties in, which solved our problem. So I've got my pen, my pencil, and a brush. Now the only thing that I can't put in here is water, but I'm sure there would be a way to put a little bottle of water in here, and so you can really have everything you need. But that's as far as we got. And then we did our little replacement where I broke it. So that's it for our lap book, guys. I hope you enjoyed the 4-part series. I hope you continue sharing your successes with me on Instagram, and please leave a comment in the comment section, and let me know what else you might want to see on these on this channel. Have a great day. Take care. Bye.